All right, so good evening to everyone. Today's the second lesson on the theme of heaven. We might finish this session in a few lessons' time, so do feel free to give suggestions on future topics. If you want me to cover or share anything, or you want to discuss anything, do let me know. All right, so we continue. The previous lesson, we talked about all the unwholesome, the 10 demeritorious deeds. So today we're going to cover the 10 meritorious deeds. So the demeritorious deeds will lead one to the lower realms, and the meritorious deeds will lead us to the higher realms. Okay. Okay, so this one is where we stopped last session. So now we are at the second paragraph. Householders, there are three sorts of Dhamma conduct: harmonious conduct with the body, four sorts of Dhamma conduct: harmonious conduct with speech, and three sorts of Dhamma conduct: harmonious conduct with the mind. So the same set of meritorious, the same set of, I would say, actions, but the reverse. Yeah, so last session also talks about 10 demeritorious actions, and this time we talk about 10 meritorious deeds. So these are the opposite of the previous lesson. Okay, next. Okay, so we start with the body, and how are there three sorts of Dhamma conduct, harmonious conduct with the body? There is a case where a certain person, abandoning the taking of life, abstains from the taking of life. He dwells with his rod laid down, his knife laid down, scrupulous, merciful, compassionate for the welfare of all beings. Right? So if a person gives up killing, then that is part of the right action. Yeah, but then again, depends on the view of the person. So last week we talked about the what kind of delusion, right? The view. Yeah, give up greed, give up hatred, give up delusion. So if a person has this view that they might have right view, yeah, they believe in avoid killing will create good karma, so you can prolong your lifespan, this life or next life. Then we call this mundane, mundane right view. If you want to talk about reward, I want to talk about compassion, to develop a mind of compassion, to free yourself from cruelty, and that is the closer to the supramundane right view, and to purify yourself. So that is, we'll cover that later. So now we talk about avoiding killing, and the next one, abandoning the taking of what is not given. He abstains from taking what is not given. He doesn't take, in the manner of a thief, things in a village or a wilderness that belongs to others and have not been given by them. So basically, not to take anything not given, other people's property. So that is the second. Third one, abandoning sensual misconduct. He abstains from sensual misconduct. He doesn't get sexually involved with those who are protected by their mothers, their fathers, their brothers, their sisters, their relatives, or their Dhamma. Those with husbands, those who entail punishments, or even those crowned with flowers by another man. Right? So the target audience probably are men. That's why he's referring to men. So the Brahmins of Sala, the large group of male audience. This is how there are three sorts of Dhamma conduct, harmonious conduct with the body. Right? So this is the three on action. I think it's quite straightforward. Next. And how are there three sorts of Dhamma conduct, harmonious conduct with speech? There is a case where a certain person, abandoning false speech, abstains from false speech when he has been called to a town meeting a group meeting, a gathering of his relatives, his guild, or of the royalty. If he is asked as a witness, come and tell, good man, what you know. If he doesn't know, he says, I don't know. If he does know, he says, I know. If he hasn't seen, he says, I haven't seen. If he has seen, he says, I have seen. Thus, he doesn't consciously tell a lie for his own sake, for the sake of another, or for the sake of any reward. Abandoning false speech, he abstains from false speech. He speaks the truth, holds to the truth, is firm, reliable, no deceiver of the world. So the key point here is there's a verse that mentions that not for your own sake or other people's sake, not for the benefit of yourself only, not for the benefit of others only. So when we talk about speaking the truth, he has to fulfill a few more conditions. Yeah, he has to benefit everybody in a wholesome way, not benefit others in an unwholesome way. So that is the key takeaway. All right, next. Abandoning divisive speech. He abstains from divisive speech. What he has heard here, he doesn't tell there, to break those people apart from these people here. What he has heard there, he doesn't tell here, to break these people apart from those people there. Thus reconciling those who have broken apart or cementing those who are united. He loves concord, delights in concord, enjoys concord, speaks things that create concord. Okay, so aside from speaking the truth, you need to, we call it, prevent division. Yeah, so earlier on it talks about, how do you call it? Benefiting yourself and others, right? So this is one example. If you can speak the truth and create trouble, then you need to think twice, before saying this. So like this one, speaking to one group, telling one group supposedly the truth of what another group tells you, then that is quite problematic. Creates lots of animosity and division. So you need to think bigger picture. So interestingly, we have this right speech comes in the 4 right speeches, comes in a complete package. If a person just recite the precept earlier, not to tell lies, make sure you have this complete package. You can be speaking the truth by creating lots of trouble for yourself and others. So you do not want that. So you want more complete package of right speech. So there are 4 right speeches. So there's the second one, abandoning divisive speech. And the third one, abandoning abusive speech. He abstains from abusive speech. He speaks words that are soothing to the ear, that are affectionate, that go to the heart, that are polite, appealing, and pleasant to people at large. Abandoning, okay, so abusive speech, the same thing. Make sure whatever you say is not too crude, not too offensive. You have to think before you speak. Think. That means you're training empathy. Actually, training empathy, putting yourself in another person's shoe. Now, what would you feel if you receive this kind of words or statement or this kind of tone? Right. So you need to think carefully first. So one of the factors of right speech is to speak affectionately. Speak affectionately, not in a harsh manner. Okay, and abandoning idle chatter. He speaks from idle chatter. He speaks in season, speaks what is factual, what is in accordance with the goal, the Dhamma, and the Vinaya. He speaks words worth treasuring, seasonable, reasonable, circumscribed, connected with the goal. Okay, so the key word here, speaks in season and speak at the right time. Yeah, a person can be like a tape recorder. You can speak the whole day, but may not be beneficial, wasting your energy and other people's energy also. So speaks what is factual. Yeah? So same as the first um, of the right speech, and what is in accordance with the goal. So um, when you speak, make sure you have a clear motive, a wholesome motive. So we talk about if let's say you want to talk about socializing, if the motive is ice breaking, then yeah, your conversation has to be revolved around that. But if let's say uh, your conversation is on spirituality, on Buddhism, on the Dhamma, then the conversation has to be geared around that. And it speaks words worth treasuring. Yeah, it has to be seasonable, reasonable. So you need to have reason also. Huh? You cannot just randomly quote something and which doesn't make sense. So you need to how do you call it? Check first. I do a bit of fact checking or research beforehand, and it's a part of training. So if you train this right speech, you're actually training your critical and reason. We call it critical thinking. Huh? How to reason properly also. All right, this is how there are four sorts of Dhamma conduct, harmonious conduct with speech. So this is the more or less complete package of speech, not just avoid telling lies. Eh? And how are there three sorts of Dhamma conduct, harmonious conduct with the mind? So now I talk about the thoughts, the thought processes. There is a case where a certain person is not covetous. He doesn't covet the belongings of others, thinking, oh, that what belongs to others would be mine. So if a person doesn't have a covetous thought, doesn't have a greedy thought, naturally won't have stealing. Yeah, and the action on abstain from taking what is not given. So this one definitely won't have this issue. He bears no ill will and is not corrupt in the resolves of his heart. He thinks, may these beings be free from animosity, free from oppression, free from trouble, and may they look after themselves with ease. So if a person has no ill will, they have compassion, then quite a number of precepts will be observed also. You won't kill anyone, you won't harm, especially if you truly have these thoughts of goodwill, then there won't be abusive speech also. Huh? Okay, next. He has right view and is not warped in the way he sees things. There's what is given, what is offered, what is sacrificed. There are fruits and results of good and bad actions. There's this world and the next world. There is mother and father. There are spontaneously reborn beings. There are contemplatives and Brahmins who, faring rightly and practicing rightly, proclaim this world and the next, having directly known and realized it for themselves. So in the previous lesson, the one with wrong view is the one who doesn't believe in all this, right? So this time round, the one with right view, we call this the mundane right view. Like I mentioned earlier in this lesson, a person may believe in good karma or believe in the concept of karma or rebirth, but if whatever wholesome things they do is just revolve around that with reward, then we call this mundane right view. But if whatever they do is to aim to purify the mind, to truly cultivate compassion, to cultivate no more ill will, to reduce ill will, to reduce greed, and that would be the supramundane kind of right view, closer to supramundane right view, which leads to enlightenment. Okay, this is how there are three sorts of Dhamma conduct, harmonious conduct with the mind. Okay, so we've covered the 10 meritorious deeds. So let's move on to the next slide. It's by reason of this Dhamma conduct and harmonious conduct that some beings here, with the breakup of the body after death, reappear in the good destinations, in the heavenly world. So this is the interesting part. So now the Buddha mentioned, if you observe the 10 meritorious deeds, you can actually choose which realm you want to be reborn and which of the higher realms you want to be reborn. So he start off with the human realm first. Householders, if one, a person of Dhamma conduct, harmonious conduct should wish, oh, if I, with the breakup of the body after death, were to reappear among well-to-do noble warriors, it is possible that one, with the breakup of the body after death, would appear among well-to-do noble warriors. Why is that? Because one is a person of Dhamma conduct, harmonious conduct. So the context, probably in that time, noble warriors would be like royalty. So if you want to be reborn in a higher class, kind of citizen or someone with an aristocratic kind of status, then you can do so if you make this wish. Okay, next. So the reason why we are born as human, we believe because last time we might have observed the 5 precepts pretty well. That means some of the 10 meritorious deeds pretty well. That's why we can come back as human. Okay, then the next one. If one, a person of Dhamma conduct, harmonious conduct, should wish, oh, if I, with the breakup of the body after death, were to reappear among well-to-do Brahmins, which is the target audience, and the target audience for Brahmins. It is possible that one, with the breakup of the body after death, would appear among well-to-do Brahmins. Why is that? Because one is a person of Dhamma conduct, harmonious conduct, and so on and so forth. So the Buddha, or rather the compilers and the reciters and the editors after centuries, arrange the format in a way is like easier to recite. It's just like reciting this like poetry, a bit like, I won't say poetry, reciting the scripture. Okay, next. Okay, then next is the 4 heavenly kings. If a person, Dhamma conduct, harmonious conduct, would wish, oh, if I were to break up of the body after death, were to reappear among the devas of the 4 great kings, it is possible that one, with the breakup of the body after death, would appear among the devas of the 4 great kings. Why is that? Because one is a person of Dhamma conduct, harmonious conduct. So this 4 great kings, the realm above the human realm, which probably I'll show you later, the diagram or the illustrated picture. So next slide. So all these are different realms. So if they want the realm of 33, then there's gods that have gone to bliss, contented gods. So all these realms which are not popular in our culture. Probably in that time, they might be familiar with the lore and the stories and the tales of these heavenly beings in the different realms. Probably in our time, not so much. But if you are familiar with any of these, you can make a wish and go up there. Yeah? Next. Yeah, so there's more. I'll just skip to the diagram actually. Okay, so this is a diagram. So I know it's a bit small. So down here, there's 31 planes of existence. So basically, the Buddha kind of mentioned all the realms, except for the lower realms. So a bit of kind of introduction. So I combined with another sutta called this Uposatta Sutta, which mentions the lifespan of the desire heavenly realms. They never mention about the Brahma worlds. Yeah, so there's a zoomed in version. So if you look at the bottom, the one in red, that's the lower realms. You see the Niraya hells, then the animal and the Peta, which is the ghosts, and the Ashura, the demons. So these are considered the four lower planes of existence. And above that, you see the number 5, that's Manusa Loka, which is human realm. So we're actually number 5, 5 out of 31. Yeah, so the the lowest 4, which is 1 to 4, that's the lowest realm. We are actually 5th from the bottom. 5th from the bottom. So there are many, many heavenly realms. So I think that's today's, or this theme is on too much heaven. So you get to slowly explore the heavens. Okay, so the 4 great kings is actually the number 6. Chatu Maharajika Devas. So these are the 4 great heavenly kings. So probably we just briefly describe what is this 4. Some of you are wondering why 4, not 5 and not 10. So these 4 represent the 4 races. So these are the kings that are in charge of 4 different kind of races in that particular realm. So if you want to talk about the all the other 31 realms, there will be many, many, many races. But in this particular realm, it's just 4 races. So what are the 4 races? So in the east, okay, so these 4 kings are like stationed in different directions. So in the east direction, this king, Tatarata, controls Gandhabas. So there's this race called Gandhabas. So some people attribute Gandhabas to musician. And this term Gandhaba is also mentioned in this the process of rebirth. So I'm not sure whether is it the same Gandhaba or different Gandhaba. But anyway, south direction, there is King Virulhaka. So he controls this race called Kumbhandanas. Kumbhanda, sorry. Yeah, so these Kumbhandas are kind of like attributed or like described as trolls. Trolls or orcs, trolls. Okay, then the west direction, there's this King Virupaka, controls the Nagas, so all the serpents and the dragons, right? So these are this King Virupaka. Then the north, there's this king. Oh my goodness, the word's so small. Let me. Vesuwana, yeah? Vesuwana controls yakas. So there's this yaka race. These are like the demons, lah, and the demons or the ogres. So these are the. Normally, if you go to some Thai temples, you might see like 2 demons like holding a sword to like guard the gate or something. So that's the depiction of a yaka. Yeah, so interesting classification. So demons are considered devas. Yeah, so all these devas have powers and abilities, and the term deva means being of light. So they appear bright, no matter how demonic they appear bright. So they're called devas. So these 4 great heavenly kings and above, not all devas are good devas. Some of them want to harm humans also. So you can further read up this Atanatya Sutta. These 4 great kings approach the Buddha and kind of like inform the Buddha that a lot of their subjects and the different species of these Gandhambas, Kumbhandanas, Nagas, and Yakas, some of them favor the practice of religious practice. Some of them do not favor religious practice, and some of them even cause harm. Yeah, they inflict harm. They even eat the flesh of humans and so on. So if they create harm, now what should you do and so on. So that's mentioned in this Atanatya Sutta. So that's for the short sharing for today. So we'll talk about more heavens in future lessons. All right, so it's half an hour of sharing. So the idea is in the formal meditation, we are training the mind to reduce greed and anger, and also hopefully delusion, so that we can, when we remove these three unmeritorious deeds of the mind, it will trickle down to the speech and body as well, because all actions come from the thought, from intention. Okay, so we start off with finding a comfortable sitting posture. Make sure your back is upright and the rest of the body relaxed. So the first phase of the meditation we are doing is the impurities of the body meditation. So we start off visualizing all the hairs from head to toe. And while doing so, we wish them well and happy. So every time you generate, or rather when you finish the sentence, when you wish the hairs well and happy, and you move on to a new patch of hair, wish it well and happy, and move on to a new patch of hair. So try not to stay on for too long. There will be a tendency to kind of daydream. So thoughts, either they are wholesome or unwholesome. If we deliberately wish the hairs well and happy, that's generating wholesome thoughts. But if we do not deliberately generate wholesome thoughts, will the mind be in a wholesome state or generate wholesome thoughts by itself? So most probably the mind will be subject to craving, any thoughts of fantasy or worry, so greed or hatred, then the mind will proliferate its craving, unwholesome thoughts. So if you want to earn your place in a good realm or in the heavens, you need to put in the work. So you wish the hairs well and happy, and observe whether the mind is getting calmer. If the mind is getting calmer, it's a symptom that this craving is kind of reduced. So craving has a correlation with stress and tension and suffering. So the stress and tension kind of settles down or reduce, and means the craving is also reduced. And if you find your mind quite settled down, then we can reflect on the impermanent nature of the hairs. So this to reduce this greed or covetousness, and also reduce delusion, promote right view. So all these hairs go through birth, aging, sickness, and death. So you think of the hairs growing and falling, many, many cycles. And as we keep looping this image, we keep on labeling, rising and passing. So we've reduced greed, anger, and delusion. Then you have a different kind of feel, a different emotion. And in that state, would you want to kill or steal or tell lies and stuff like that? So the more contented or the more wholesome the mind, then the mind is inclined not to commit any of these unwholesome acts. So the more peace you have, then that's more in tune with the Dhamma and the truth, or this truth leading to peace. And this peace you need to maintain. That means keep on generating the right thought, keep turning the Noble Eightfold Path, keep turning the Dhamma wheel. Then we can ask ourselves, are these hairs truly self? Can we tell the hairs not to go through birth and death? So the next part of the body, we can think of the nails, fingernails and toenails. May they be well and happy. And all these nails go through birth, aging, sickness, and death. So you think of the nails growing and falling, many, many cycles. And as we keep looping this image, we can keep labeling, rising and passing. And we can ask ourselves, are these nails truly self? Can we tell the nails not to go through birth and death? So the next part of the body, we can visualize the teeth. All the teeth inside the mouth, may they be well and happy. And all these teeth are subject to birth, aging, sickness, and death. So we think of them growing and falling, many, many cycles. And as we keep looping this image, we keep labeling, rising and passing. Then we can ask ourselves, are these teeth truly self? Can we tell the teeth not to go through birth and death? So the next part of the body, we can visualize the skin. May all the skin be well and happy. And all the skin are subject to birth, aging, sickness, and passing away. So you think of them growing and falling many, many cycles. And as we keep looping this image, we keep labeling rising and passing. And we can ask ourselves, are this skin truly self? Can we tell the skin not to go through birth and death? Okay, then the next phase of the meditation, we are going to familiarize ourselves with the four elements, sensations of the four elements, the earth, fire, wind, water sensations. So basically, earth represents any hard or soft sensations, fire is hot and cold, wind is fast, slow movements, and water is the moist and dry sensations. So there's no need to visualize anything. All these sensations are your real-time evidence. So there's no need to purposely generate them. You let them appear by themselves, naturally. And whatever sensation appear, we don't struggle, don't fight, don't cling to them. We wish them well and happy. Yeah? So first step is to make peace with all the sensations. Again, deliberate effort in order to generate this meritorious thought. Your sensation appear, may they be well and happy. When the mind settles down to this neutral baseline state, then that would be like minimum human realm kind of frequency. Eh? And if you want to upgrade, then we're going to cultivate this boundless mind. May all beings in all directions be well and happy, above, below, and all across. No need to push your mind. Let the mind extend naturally by itself. However far it wishes to extend doesn't matter. And in that widened sphere of attention, we are going to perceive all beings as the four elements or the five aggregates. No need to visualize them. Huh? So whatever sensation you feel, we are going to wish, may all beings be well and happy. So these sensations may appear inside the body or outside the body, near or far, large or small area, doesn't matter. When something appears, may all beings be well and happy. All beings are made of the elements. So I use this as the lowest common denominator. If the conditions are right, you have the right thought, right effort, everything, it may trigger this right concentration. So if let's say you have enough fuel, enough the effort there, you might reach this the territory of this first level of concentration. So that's like the Brahma world territory. Yeah? So if your emotion has increased in pleasantness compared to the neutral baseline emotion, and that will be the indicator. And it's more peaceful also. And regardless of what you experience, keep on traveling the middle path, keep on wishing may all beings be well and happy. Treat everything else, all other symptoms as byproduct. Okay, then we're going to add some insight. We're going to now reflect on impermanence. We just change the labeling, whatever sensation that appear, and we label rising and passing. Okay, let's say the joy and the pleasant emotions start to disappear. One may experience this neutral and refreshing kind of experience. So we call that equanimity. So it's considered the purer state of mind compared to the previous one. And it's often associated with the fourth level of concentration. And again, regardless of what you experience, keep on labeling rising and passing. Treat everything else as a byproduct. And then we move on to the next sublime state, which is compassion. Yeah, so you have thoughts of compassion, then we won't have the thoughts of taking life. So we're going to wish, may all beings be free from suffering. So using the non-discrimination approach again, we are not going to visualize. In fact, we're going to get to the source or closer to the right view. All beings suffer because we cling to the elements, we cling to the aggregates. So whatever sensation appear, then we wish, may all beings be free from suffering. Don't need to dramatize or create any story. Once you create a story, means the mind has followed towards the unwholesome thought territory. The mind would like to create drama show already. In order to prevent that, we keep on generating right thought. May all beings be free from suffering. If all the conditions are right, then one may enter the second level of concentration. So this compassion should feel joyful. The conventional compassion is like very sad or sorrowful, but the concentrated kind of compassion should have some kind of joy inside. And regardless of what you experience, keep on wishing may all beings be free from suffering. Treat everything else as a byproduct. And we're going to add some wisdom, some insight to reduce this attachment. And we're going to now think of impermanence. So whatever sensation appeared, and we label impermanence. How to practice true compassion, how to truly overcome suffering. That is to overcome clinging. And then we kind of shake off the clinging with impermanence. Whatever sensation appear, keep labeling rising, passing. Okay, and if let's say the joy and happiness start to disappear, instead of the equanimity from previously, this time around it should feel a bit more blank or spacey. So we call that experience the perception of infinite space. And regardless of what you experience, keep on labeling rising and passing, treat everything else as a byproduct. Before we conclude the session, same gentle reminder in all activities, be it standing, sitting, walking, or lying down, as long as we're mindful of the sublime states or mindful of impermanence, then that's the noblest conduct. And with that, we can gently open our eyes, formally end the session, informally still can generate right thought. Anumodana. Akasata ca Bhumata Devanaga Mahirika Punyang tang anumoditva Chirang Rakhantu Loka Sasanang Etavata ca Ampehi Sampadang Punya Sampadang Sabbe Deva Sabbe Bhuta Sabbe Sata Anumodantu Sabba Sampati Siddhya. Dedication of merits to departed. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Aspiration. Imina punya kamena mame bala samagamo. Satang samagamo hotu. Yavanibhana patiya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And we bow 3 times to the Buddha to end off. First bow, second bow, third bow. And a gentle reminder again, next week no lesson on the 17th, no lesson, then we'll start on the following week. All right, that's it. Anything from Terence? Nothing, then good night.